let's get started. The first thing that you're going to do is obviously you want to do some eye primer. I've already done that. I've used a Younique eye primer on my eye because I do think primer makes everything, your colors stick better and work better. The next thing I'm going to do is take this white pencil and I'm going to actually color in the lid of my eye. So like where I feel my eyeball, I'm going to put some in the inner corner as well as right underneath the brow. And then I'm just going to take my finger and really just blend that a little bit. That white underneath is going to give us a base to brighten the shadow that we're going to put on top of it and give us a nice highlight under the brow. I'm also going to do my waterline with the white shadow. You don't have to do this because some people find tight lining on the waterline to be irritating. But if you can tolerate it, this is a great way to make your eyes appear larger by using white in the waterline. Okay, so getting into the palette. What I'm going to do is grab this dark matte brown color Forthright, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush all of my brow hairs down. And I'm actually using that color to fill in my brow, which the great thing about using powdered brow filler that I love is not only is it very forgiving, but it also is very natural when it comes to the brushed out appearance of it. So even if you kind of are a little heavier handed, if it feels a little dark, you know, you can just kind of keep brushing it out and it'll blend out, you know. So I take my brush and then I go up with a dry spoolie brush, and now I've kind of got sister brows. Okay, so that a brow in itself is also going to help sculpt your eye and make it appear more open and wide. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a large shadow brush. This is just like an all over shadow brush. I'm going to come into this lightest shade called Elated. You want to take a shade that is almost white, or if you want to use just a plain white, you could. It kind of depends on your skin tone, but you want to go with something that is brightening yet sort of close to your skin tone so that you can do the entire lash line to brow line right on top of any of that white liner that you had put in. Okay, and this is going to be like your base color. And it'll also just add some brightening. You want to make sure that these inner corners are nice and bright too. Okay, the next brush that I'm going to use is actually a dual-ended brush. It's the Liner Shader brush from Younique. This is a great tool for this process because I'm going to take the shading side and I'm going to come into this color Chipper, which is a mid-toned warm brown. You want to go with a color that is going to mimic kind of the natural shadows of your face. So I like this mid-tone warm brown because it is very natural looking, and what you're really trying to do is sculpt out your eye. So where I'm placing this, I'm going to take this and with my eye either partially open or open, I'm actually placing it above the crease. And if you don't have a lot of lid space, this could be a little challenging. So you might want to take your dry brush while it's clean and go ahead and try to find this spot without any shadow on it. It's really where the bone is right here. So we're above the crease and we're just going to pull it all the way out past the tail end of our brow there. And what that's going to do is it still gives you that really light colored lid so that your eye then appears larger because you're just enhancing this shadow here. There's a natural shadow right there. And now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to actually, this is going to sound crazy, I'm going to enhance the natural shadow that appears under the eye. If I kind of partially squint my eyes, see how there's always going to be a natural shadow there? I actually want to enhance it because the white plus this shadow is going to give a doll-like openness to your eye. So, just going to go ahead, and I really didn't even re-dip my brush because I don't want it to be crazy under there. I just used what was left on it. So it just kind of depends on how much product you picked up with your brush. Okay, so then you've kind of accentuated that shadow under there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is flip it to the other side where it's a thin angled lining brush, and you want to wet the tip with water or rose water or some kind of makeup setting spray or whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm coming back into that dark brown color Forthright. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this on the end of this liner brush. And what I'm going to do is come really close to the lash line and just follow that lash line all the way in. And just keeping it, like I said, as thin as possible, nice and close to the lash line. Now, right now I haven't really lifted the eye at all. I've just done literally from inner corner to outer corner. And we're gonna come back to this in a minute, but I want you to do this in this order. So now that you've lined the upper lash line, now it's time for lashes. So I'm gonna be using my typical base coat of L'Oreal Voluminous. And what I do is just give myself a nice base coat of both the upper and lower lashes. And you want, this is also going to help accentuate that white liner in the waterline. Okay, and I've got a nice coat of black with that. And now what I want to do is utilize my Fiber Lash mascara to really open up with the flutter of lashes as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of this on, really focusing on these tips. And now the dry fibers. Okay, and then I like to curl with a blow dryer. Now, if you are more comfortable using a lash curler, that's absolutely acceptable. I would do that before you start your mascara application. I, with lash curler, tend to either pinch my skin or tear out and lose lashes, and I don't have a lot of lashes to work with to begin with. So what I'm doing here, I like to use a blow dryer. So what I'm doing here is giving myself a little extra coat on just the tips of my lashes. And you always want your final strokes to be up because they're lifting the lashes and opening the eye. Okay, and so now there we go, we've got lashes. And then the last step is to actually draw the illusion of the final lash. So I'm just going to take a really thin pencil brush and I'll go ahead and wet it just like I did with the liner brush when I did my lash line. And I'm going to come into that same dark matte Forthright color. And what I'm going to do is actually just draw the final lash. And this is going to be just very natural looking. And the reason I did my mascara first is so that I can really see I'm following the same direction as my curled lashes. And that's where I'm basically just drawing in that final lash. So I wouldn't call this like, this isn't like a cat eye, and it's kind of a wing, but you're really just, again, giving that illusion of some lift on each side. And there you have it. You've got a really great sculpted out eye. Now you can take like a large fluffy brush, and if you've got any stray fibers from the Fiber Mascara, or if you need to use a Q-tip to do any final error corrections or blending, you can do that. But basically there's You're very natural, only using palette one and a white liner and a series of, a couple of brushes, and you can get a very natural, very open, bright-eyed look that is wearable every day. So I hope you liked this. Have a great day, guys. Bye.